The once poor South Korean city has bloomed into a cultural capital with high-profile architecture, top museums, and an influential art scene, home to sleek skyscrapers and shopping malls, as well as preserved royal palaces and Buddhist temples. The South Korean capital is teeming with unique culture and modern comforts. In this video, we will check out life in Seoul, South Korea, the city, culture, and people. Number 6. The beating heart of South Korea. All capital cities are important, but with 22 million people, half the country's population living there, Seoul is more than a capital city. It is a driving force and overwhelming presence and dominates life in South Korea. Expats may venture into the mountains to the north of the city in order to explore the countryside and breathe some fresh air. But there are a few towns or cities outside the capital that offer interest to expats. Its importance to the country as a whole makes it a fascinating, bustling, noisy, and thrilling place to live. Real estate can be expensive, particularly in the glamorous Gangnam district, but for many expats, the experience of life in this colorful part of town is worth it. Better deals can be found if expats are willing to set up home north of the Han River in Gyeonggi. And while this area may lack the profile and nightlife of other more popular sectors, it is the former royal capital and is generally seen as more authentic. Also bear in mind that renting a property in Seoul will involve payment of a deposit known as key money, as well as rent. Seoul's population increased from 2.5 million in 1960 to over 10 million in 1990. Bringing prosperity along with major problems for the environment and quality of life. Modern Seoul is a mega city with just under 10 million inhabitants in the main city and 25 million in the wider metropolitan area. For a world city, it is unusually homogeneous, with around 98% of the population ethnically Korean. However, the number of residents born abroad has more than quintupled since 2000. Seoul now faces the challenge of integrating new migrants amidst concerns about the multicultural transition. Hallyu, or the Korean Wave, began to gather force at the beginning of the 21st century. Korean music and film have become very popular abroad, and K-pop and K-dramas are now internationally known genres. Festivals are also important to the city's cultural life. The Seoul Metropolitan Government promotes festivals during each season: Seoul Drum Festival, Seoul Culture Night, Seoul Street Arts Festival, and Seoul Kimchi Festival. Seoul is an hour and a half from one of the most dangerous borders in the world. The demilitarized zone is not really demilitarized. The buffer established at the end of the Korean War. This 250-kilometer border divides the two Koreas with heavy artillery, North Korean nukes, and 2 million soldiers. Number 5. The best time of the year to visit Seoul is spring or fall. The weather in Seoul is not always agreeable. Winter is frigid. Summer feels like a swamp. At about the same latitude as the central states, Seoul's weather and seasonality more or less mirrors New York City. Aim for September, October, or April, June, when temps range in comfortable 55 to 85 degrees. Air quality, however, is a concern all year round. You'll spot locals wearing masks to fend off the fine dust. In recent years, Seoul's pollution levels have reached carcinogenic heights, on some days exceeding the World Health Organization's exposure limits. If the smog is bad and you want to sport a mask too, you can find one at any convenience store or pharmacy. But at this point, you probably own about 50 of your own. Thanks, pandemic. Shopping is not just shopping. It's a symbol of progress and a crisis of conscience. From the 1960s onward, Korea industrialized at a mind-boggling rate. It led to an improved but also a westernized standard of living. bringing in foreign trends, big box stores, franchise brands, and rampant consumerism. Number 4. Walking around Seoul can feel like a competitive sport. Except worse because there are no rules. There's no sense of directionality, as in you walk on your side, I'll walk on mine. Pedestrians are pushy. Motorcyclists are certainly not concerned about your safety. And the sidewalks are really just extra parking spaces for cars. Take it in stride and bask in the bedlam. Number 3. Food, the beating heart of Korean culture. The best way to understand any culture is through its food, and this is no different in Seoul. While the country may be best known for kimchi and bibimbap bowls, there are hundreds of traditional and modern dishes to try. If you want to eat like Korea's royal family do, then head to Seoul. Sitting on Buamdong, a green and leafy hill in the north of the city. The restaurant is housed in a traditional Hanok building, surrounded by a stunning walled garden which regularly hosts weddings. Seoul's menu focuses on dishes traditionally cooked for the royal court. In fact, the recipes themselves have been handed down through the city's palace kitchens and historic aristocrat families. Dishes include mandu, fish dumplings, songatang, pine mushroom stew, and jeonwa, seasonal flour pancakes. Number 2. Explore the city by river. If you want to escape the crowds in Seoul, one of the best options is to hop on board a boat. The city is cut in two by the Han River, which divides the modern financial center of the south from the more historical north. Many companies run river cruises throughout the day and night, with moonlight cruises particularly popular. If you're after something a little more luxurious though, Golden Blue Marina rents out yachts for up to 8 people and will provide you with a 3-hour guided tour while you sit back, relax, and admire the views with a glass of champagne. Number 1. The culture. Seoul is placing a priority on new cultural infrastructure and the reuse of old buildings as ways of encouraging creativity, with several venues having opened in 2017. A former oil depot, the Oil Tank Culture Park is now a major cultural landmark, attracting artists and creatives to the area. The Upcycling Plaza combines culture with the opportunity to learn about sustainability. The Donuiman Museum Village celebrates the city's historic Donuiman district. The Sima Bunker, a former military bunker, is home to experimental arts projects and special exhibitions. The city's long-term cultural plan, Seoul Culture Vision 2030, focuses on the cultural engagement and happiness of its citizens, often through community projects, and aims to create a cultural shift from the idea of citizens as cultural consumers to being cultural creators. Do let us know in the comments if you want to visit Seoul. Please subscribe to Travel the World. Thanks for watching.